Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Valeria and this is the Off-Road Ranch, as usual. Today I want to talk about the importance of a balanced diet, about the importance to get the necessary substances from food, about the importance of receiving that amount of calories and nutrients for your body and for your brain that is necessary to work the way you need. We are what we eat, and our diet affects our health, mood, and strength greatly. And the main thing is not the volume of food, and not the number of calories, fats, proteins, and carbohydrates, but their balance in that amount that is necessary. The quality and quantity of food consumed depend on many factors. There is a minimum of calories, that is a minimum of food that is necessary to maintain only the work of the body. And there are many additional factors due to which the amount of food increases. For example, weight. The more you weigh, the more you eat. The question is, what exactly you eat? Healthy food or fast food and sweets? Also, it is age. If you are a growing body, then you need a lot of calories. For example, children can eat like adults and not get fat because everything is spent on the growth of the body and active games. Also, it is health features. If you have a certain lifestyle or medical indications, then it may be necessary to exclude or to add some food or supplements. Another factor is lifestyle. How much you move, how much you think, how much you are nervous. Yes, not only physical activity affects the amount of food. Have you ever noticed that if you work actively with your brain and think, then you want to eat more? Try to observe it. Our brain actively consumes calories. Therefore, in order to think well, we need to eat well. And these calories will not convert into fat. Also, if we are nervous, then we can lose weight. But at the same time, we can get some kinds of diseases. That's why we need to keep an eye on stress we receive. And also, if we lose weight when we are nervous, it doesn't mean at all that we shall immediately run to the refrigerator and eat everything that it has. For example, if I work actively using my brain, my body needs more energy. I will eat more food and more often. But with a balance between work and physical activity, the size of my body will not change, since our brain consumes on average up to 25% of the energy received from food. Also, if I lose weight when I'm nervous, I shouldn't run to the refrigerator and eat everything in it, because in this way I relieve stress through food. And this leads to eating disorder. The number of calories and the norm of weight can be calculated. To do this, you need to visit dietitians. I mean doctors, not experts who received a dietitian diploma via the internet in 1 year or even less. They will conduct a comprehensive research of the state of your body, ask you to pass a series of analyses, take into account health features and taste preferences. And also, through special programs, will calculate the amount of calories you need to consume based on your age, height, weight, physical activity, and goal. Also, there is a concept of body mass index, but we cannot rely just on it. it is better to rely on the number of calories you need to consume based on your request. And of course, all these calculations cannot decide everything for you. I will give simple examples. If I feel stressed and I don't want to eat, or vice versa, I want to eat, then my calorie consumption will be different. Or if I work outside at low temperatures and strong wind, then my body will spend more calories on heating, and I need to change my diet taking into account these factors. Or if I spend weeks on the yard cutting down trees and digging, then of course my calorie intake and diet will also change dramatically. But in terms of balance, I will not gain weight because it is logical that I spend calories on work. And I will not lose weight because the more I work, the more I eat. So we can see that number of calories is not constant. Moreover, based on these calculators, I have underweight. But I'm totally healthy and I have always loved how I feel myself. Why shall I change anything? That's why you shall remember that your health and your self-feeling and satisfaction from your self-feeling is much more important than numbers, conventional wisdom, or imposed opinions. So, for example, I know how much I shall eat, or I just want to eat. What shall I eat? All food, absolutely all food that we eat, is a source of energy. It consists of fats, proteins, carbohydrates, vitamins, minerals, and we need all of them. Let's talk about them in detail. Proteins. All cells and all internal organs are built from proteins. Muscles, hair, nails, skin are formed from it. Proteins help to build immune defenses and formation of blood. Proteins affect hormone production, reproductive system, and digestive enzymes. Most protein is found in eggs, cottage cheese, chicken, fish, lean meat. There are also both lots of protein and fats in cheese and nuts. And there are also lots of proteins and carbohydrates in beans and cereals like buckwheat, rice, pasta, and so on. And all of this helps us to balance our diet. Fats. Fats are essential for the absorption of food, transportation of substances, and production of hormones. Thanks to fats, liver, kidneys, gallbladder, and blood vessels have proper functioning. Some substances cannot be absorbed without fats. Fats provide a large amount of energy, which proteins and carbohydrates are not able to give us. Most of fats are found in nuts and cheese, as I told earlier, and also in oils, avocados, oily fish, and egg yolks. There are also fats in large quantities in industrial sausages, mayonnaise, sauces, and chips. But these fats are harmful for us. They have a lot of stress on our internal organs and clog blood vessels, which leads to diseases and long-term medication. But without a proper lifestyle and a proper diet, this medication is not a real treatment, but just a temporary relief and a burden for our bodies even more. After entering the body, all carbohydrates break down to simple sugar, glucose, and feed our cells with energy. Carbohydrates can be simple and complex. Simple carbohydrates are carbohydrates that break down to glucose fast and are easily digested. Complex carbohydrates are called so because they are more complex than simple carbohydrates. They break down to glucose slowly and provide us with energy for a long time. Complex carbohydrates include cereals, rice, buckwheat, pasta, and others, and also beans and vegetables. They are very useful because they contain useful substances, vitamins and minerals that the body needs. And at the same time, they give us a feeling of fullness for a long time. Simple carbohydrates are sugar, of course, flour, starch, cookies, chocolate, and other sweets. Simple carbohydrates provide us with fast energy, but they are not healthy because, as usual, they contain only sugar, unhealthy fats, and additives. Fruits are healthy, but they are simple carbohydrates as well. So it is recommended to eat them in moderate amount. If we consume a lot of sweets, then our blood glucose levels rise, which is harmful and increases the risk of diabetes. I talk about diabetes in the video about work-life balance. Also, sugar gives us energy only for a short period of time, and after that we feel ourselves even more tired. Moreover, sugar doesn't allow food to be properly digested in stomach and intestines. Whereas bacteria live in stomach and intestines, which are called microflora. By the way, bacteria are not our enemies, as some people believe. We need them, and some of them live in stomach and intestines in order to digest food. And we need to have them in sufficient amount, otherwise we do not digest what we eat. But also, there are harmful bacteria that just live in us and cause harm and diseases. When we eat a lot of sugar, then microflora balance is disrupted. There are fewer beneficial bacteria, and bad bacteria eat sugar, multiply, and cause inflammation and diseases. In addition, we become irritable and nervous, and may not notice it or not understand the reason. Moreover, the consumption of sugar provokes the growth of fungi and the reproduction of parasites. However, sometimes I eat sugar and sweets. For example, several times a week I eat dried fruit, dark chocolate, and halwa. At a party, I will eat a piece of cake. Sometimes I hear that we need to eat sweets because our body needs sugar. But sugar is glucose, which are both simple and complex carbohydrates. So, when consuming complex carbohydrates, our body receives sugar as well, but in addition, it is healthy. There is also a number of products that harm the body, and I believe they should be avoided. The harm isn't always in body changes we don't like. The harm will be if there are no substances that nourish the body, restore it, and give it energy. Also, there will be harm if we eat something that destroys our body from the inside, clogs blood vessels, or overloads kidneys, liver, and other internal organs. If they cannot withstand the burden and do not have time to cleanse and recover, then they begin to destroy. What products are harmful and what do I almost completely exclude from food? I do not eat sausages, ham, processed cheese, and fatty meats because of the high amount of unhealthy fats. In addition, they contain artificial additives such as preservatives, sickeners, and dyes that destroy our body, kill beneficial bacteria, and only cause harm and disease. Also, I don't eat fast food. In 5 years, I ate French fries and hamburger maximum 5 times. And it was because there was no normal food in the area. I don't eat ketchup, mayonnaise, and sauces. All of them contain fat, sugar, starch, and again artificial additives. And there are absolutely no any nutrients, vitamins, and minerals, despite the fact that their benefits are written on labels. An exception is natural farm products. And also I try to eat less sweets because they destroy microflora and cause the growth of pathogenic microorganisms, fungi, and parasites. For the same reason, I do not eat yogurt with sugar and everything that contains hidden sugar. Friendly microflora stimulates production of protective antibodies and is a constant stimulus for local immunity in different organs of our bodies. Therefore, it is important to take care of health systematically and consciously and take responsibility for your actions regardless of whether it is a recommendation of a doctor or your own desire. Someone might say, hey, nothing will happen if you eat just little bit of these harmful products. Then I would answer, advise yourself how to harm yourself and do not advise others how to harm themselves. And do not justify yourself with habits or lack of willpower. So, if I don't eat so many products, what do I eat? For example, my breakfast is often eggs, porridge or bread, cheese and vegetables. For lunch it is soup, meat, cereals and salad. For dinner, again meat and salad, or cottage cheese with fruit and nuts. I believe that food shall be as simple, fresh, and easy to cook as possible. The simpler, the better. It is better to cook something simple for yourself than mix 10 types of products that cannot be digested with each other and will be digested for a long time. Still, I don't have 100% strict rules and limitations. Sometimes, of course, I eat pizza and cakes with a great pleasure. If I have only 10% of junk food in my whole meals, then it will be okay for my health. Still, it doesn't mean that we shall convince anyone to eat certain food. Root vegetables are also very useful. For example, beet, radish, carrot, daikon, parsnip, ginger, and other vegetable crops which are grown for their underground part consumption. They are very useful because they store lots of nutrients, vitamins and minerals. They contain whole complexes of substances. They prevent a sharp increase in blood sugar levels. They are used in dietary nutrition due to their low calorie content. They are an excellent resource of energy and shall be consumed on a regular basis. And in addition, it's easy to store them and you can cook hundreds of meals from them. And moreover, they are used as medicines under certain dosage and methods of use. We shall remember that some of them can accumulate nitrates and heavy metals, and that's why it's advisable to buy farm products or to grow them yourself or to buy special device to measure the level of nitrates and heavy metals. It is also very important to eat garlic, onions, spices and condiments. They help to assimilate food better, stimulate processing of food, suppress bacteria and prevent putrefaction. Spices accelerate the activity of enzymes, absorb impurities in cells and activate the removal of toxins. Spices differ in composition, and in some of them nature concentrates vitamins. Therefore, a pinch of condiments has a positive effect on body systems. For example, hot spices are able to fight pathogens. Cinnamon normalizes blood sugar levels and reduces sugar craving. Bay leaf, cumin, cloves, dill contain essential oils that help to clean the upper respiratory tract and make breathing easier. Paprika is known for its ability to activate metabolism, and this helps to lose weight. When the body lacks nutrients, vitamins and minerals, you can understand it if you are attentive to your body and listen to what it says. For example, I will be constantly tired, sleepy, in a bad mood, sad. I won't be able to think actively. I won't have a desire to go sports or meet friends. And if the body doesn't have enough substances to feed itself from the inside, then of course there is no energy left for the appearance. I will have bad skin, weak hair, ugly nails, bags under my eyes. The body doesn't care about beauty. First of all, it needs to improve the work of all organs from the inside. And body doesn't know what beauty is. But all the symptoms can be removed if you pass tests for micro and macronutrients, then track your nutrition and adjust your nutrition, and also will have a schedule and physical activity that suit you. I talk about it in the video of balance in work and rest, and I mentioned it earlier. And there is no point in drinking stimulants or reading motivational phrases, buying expensive creams, making hair masks, applying patches under the eyes. And there is no sense to pretend that you are cheerful and to force yourself to do anything without a desire, because with the right lifestyle, everything will work itself out. And moreover, it is a normal human state. As for the approach to the meal schedule, in my opinion, the optimal number of meals is 3-4 times a day. It is discipline for me and for the body, which knows which time food will be. And also 3-4 meals a day means that there is enough time for food to be well digested and for the stomach to be ready for a new meal when I want to eat again. And also, I think that it is better to eat hearty and fully 3 times a day than to snack many times, because it is harmful. When we eat often, our stomach is constantly working and digesting. Accordingly, the level of sugar in blood is also constantly increased, which is harmful. And in addition, if I don't give my body a solid meal, then I constantly want to eat. As for me, I prefer to have a solid portion and to forget about food for 4-5 hours and preferably more. Otherwise, I won't be able to do my job well and will constantly think about food. I have the same nutritional rules when I have increased physical and mental activity, but with one exception. When I have increased activity, I eat 4 or 5 times a day. And these are also quality and hearty meals. If I snack instead of solid portion, then I would eat 10 times a day. But I don't want such kind of situation. Therefore, every meal will include a sufficient amount of fats, proteins, and carbohydrates. In the last 2 topics, I would like to talk about water and supplements. Water is essential for us to cleanse internal organs, remove harmful substances, and have good functioning of intestines. Water prevents headache, nourishes cells, and protects joints from aging. It is recommended to drink 35 milligrams of water per 1 kilogram of weight. So my norm is about 1,800 milligrams per day. But in the summer or during physical activity, I can drink up to 5 liters. Also, I drink hot or warm water. It is very useful for our stomach and intestines, but for me it's just delicious. At the same time, we shall remember that coffee, tea, sweet water, juices are not water. Our stomach perceives them as food. And also, we shall remember that coffee additionally removes water from body. So, when you drink coffee, drink an extra glass of water. Also, many people mistake thirst with hunger. And sometimes it seems to us that we want to eat, but try to drink a half of glass of water. Maybe you will not want to eat anymore. And finally, I would like to talk about supplements. When I say supplements, I mean specific vitamins and minerals which are involved into biochemical processes and which our body needs to perform specific functions. In the modern world, due to various environmental factors and stress, we often lack vitamins and minerals which are involved in all reactions and body processes. In addition, nowadays we have low quality of soil, and lots of fruits and vegetables are grown in greenhouses. And if there is no proper control, then companies use solutions for the growth and size rather than solutions with vitamins and minerals, because they care about their profit rather than about health of customers. As a result, the quality and the benefits of food nowadays is much less than 50 years ago. But our body still needs all colors of nature. Also, because of the increased physical activity, my body will consume vitamins and minerals in increased amount too. So my body will be thankful and will have more energy if I will give it separate vitamins and minerals. I will list the supplements I take, and they are the most popular. Magnesium, which is involved in more than 300 reactions in the body. It is needed for the stable functioning of heart, regulation of nervous system, stabilization of pressure, maintenance of immunity, and many other factors. It was found out that during short but stressful situation, our body can consume daily amount of magnesium at once. Vitamin D, which is synthesized in bodies under the sun and found in sea fish, yolks and milk. It is often not enough, and in sunny countries too. Scorching sun is harmful, and there is a certain time of exposure to the sun for it to be beneficial. Vitamin D works as hormone as well, and thanks to it, bones remain strong and pressure and heartbeat stable. According to the WHO recommendations, the average daily intake is 600 international units. But I repeatedly saw in the recommendations of doctors that it might be not enough and that we need 2,000 international units or even 5,000 international units. I drink from 2,000 to 4,000 international units per day, and during serious illnesses I drink 20,000 international units. Omega-3. It is a source of healthy fats. It participates in building hormones, reduces inflammation, and strengthens blood vessels. It prevents many diseases and is a strong antioxidant that is prevent aging. Zinc strengthens immune system and nervous system, helps in wound healing and improves brain function. I drink zinc intermittently from time to time. For example, when I understand that I can get sick, or during the cold season, or when I have heavy physical and mental activity. Usually it is 2-3 times a year. Vitamin C strengthens the immune system, helps to recover, accelerates wound healing, cleanses the body of toxins. If I don't forget to buy, then I drink 1,000 milligrams per day, dissolved in warm water as I like. If I get sick, then I drink 3,000 milligrams per day, but I don't drink it on empty stomach because it is ascorbic acid. B group vitamins. There are quite a few of them. B1, B2, B3, B6, B9, B12. Almost all of them affect the functioning of the nervous system, the functioning of the brain, the formation of blood, and the functioning of muscles. Iodine. Iodine plays a huge role in thyroid health. The thyroid gland regulates the work of almost all human systems and organs. Iodine regulates the production of hormones that control metabolism and heart health. Iodine improves cognitive functions and has anti-tumor properties and many other functions. Selenium. Like iodine, selenium regulates the work of the thyroid gland, participates in metabolism, and destroys cancer cells. It has the ability to reduce DNA damage and oxidative stress. Selenium contains more than 200 enzymes, and it helps to remove arsenic, cadmium, mercury from the body. Vitamins A and E. They are well absorbed together. Vitamin A is necessary for the formation of the skeletal system and teeth and for the growth of new cells. It accelerates healing of wounds, cuts, burns, and stimulates the production of collagen. It helps to improve vision, and it regulates the work of sex hormones, adrenal and thyroid hormones. Vitamin E is the main fighter against aging, actively preventing oxidation stress. Vitamin E normalizes the male and female reproductive systems, and it affects endocrine, nervous, and cardiovascular systems. Calcium. Almost all of the body's calcium, 99%, is found in bones and teeth. Accordingly, calcium ensures the growth and maintenance of strong bones and teeth. It is involved in the processes of the excitability of nervous tissue and muscle contractility. Also, it has anti-allergic and anti-inflammatory action. Sometimes I drink other supplements or extracts, for example, in order to get additional enzymes, reduce inflammation, improve intestinal motility, or to reduce pain. There are a few things to be aware of when taking vitamins and minerals. The first one is that sweets and starch prevent the absorption of many vitamins and minerals and additionally remove them from the body. Secondly, some vitamins and minerals do not digest with each other, and some of them do not interact without additional cofactors. For example, sometimes you don't need to drink calcium for brittle bones because you need to drink its cofactors. Or iodine shall be taken together with selenium, and so on. And thirdly, of course, for the right calculation and dosage, you shall visit a doctor. Exceeding the permissible norm is a burden for organs, is not absorbed, and does not allow other substances and products to be well absorbed. Also, a doctor will give you recommendations about time and conditions to take supplements in order for them to have most benefits. So, we have come to the end, and I would like to say that my idea was to convey to you the importance of an integrated approach to life. My video is not a call to do something the way I say, or to experiment on yourself, or to do something against your will. I hope that my words are a motivation for you to study various topics and find a balance. There are so many interesting things in the world, and in addition to your main job, you can be interested in various things such as engineering, computer science, nutrition, anatomy, and in general, study any topic that interests you, from microparticles to space. I hope that this video was helpful for you. I wish you to be healthy from the moon and back. Subscribe, like, support me with your donations. I appreciate it a lot. It was Valeria and the Off-Road Ranch.